Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This week I'm drawing some fan art for myself. I draw a lot of fan art for myself, but usually the stuff with more than one character is specifically for Emily, and this week I made something for me and kind of for Emily because I think I made her ship this. Anyway, it's Sanji and Luffy from One Piece because I love them and I ship them, but as little kids, like if they met when they were younger. I can dream. Anyway, I took last week off, kind of, sort of. I still had my day job, and I still worked on my webcomic. Progress on that is going slower than I would like for this next update. I think it's just the fact that, like, it's January, and everything is kind of slowing down in January because it's the only month that's like really cold here where I live, and I'm sort of exhausted from all the work I had to do at my day job for the last couple of months, and yeah. Also, I'm the only person who hasn't gotten their hours cut at my job, so I'm still doing the same amount of work, and I'm just tired, I think. So, like, I didn't make a video last week, or I didn't publish a video. I actually recorded drawing this last week, and now I'm making the video, but it's like Tuesday when I'm doing this, Tuesday night. Yeah. So everything is slow this month. Hopefully I get back up to speed next month. I'm trying to get a different position at the place I work at, and if that doesn't work, I'm gonna start checking out other jobs in town because I don't make a lot of money where I am, and it's retail, so it's actually one of the lowest paying retail places I've ever worked at. Like, I think I worked at Lowe's, the home improvement place, when I was in college in like 2012, and I made about the same that I'm making where I work now. And it's officially 2021, and I'm making the same money that I made in 2012, and that's not really cool. I made less money at the movie theater, gonna be honest. That was like the worst paying job I've ever had, but it was also my favorite job. Like, everything about it made up for the fact that it was really hard to make ends meet because I worked there. And if they open up again, like if vaccines and stuff go through and like movie theaters can operate normally again, I kind of really want to go back, but at the same time, like, I need to be able to afford to pay my bills. So I'm probably gonna keep my shitty retail job because it pays better, but maybe I can do like weekends at the movie theater. I'll be really tired then, but you know, whatever. Either that or I can get a really decent job that's not soul crushing in any capacity. You know, we'll find out. Maybe this artist thing will take off. I really want to sell stuff, you know, like design keychains or stickers or something, and sell prints, but I don't think I have much of a following, like enough of a following to justify the costs of that. But maybe I can just start posting stuff and be like, hey, here is a link to like stickers. Start small, like sell stickers, and you know, maybe through that I will gain a following and manage to make a decent, like, side money at least. I don't expect it to go too well. Like, if cons were still a thing, I would try and make it more, I think it would be a more feasible way to make money to live off of, because I could just go to cons and sell at conventions, like maybe have an online shop, but also just make a lot of money selling art at conventions, because I think there are people who have like successfully done that. But yeah, by the time I decided it was going to be a thing to do, we've of course entered the pandemic times and cons aren't a thing. one of the local comic book conventions is going to try and like have an event this summer. They posted just dates on Instagram. It's gonna be about mid-June. It's the convention that normally happens like at the beginning of January here, so that's normally what like my friends and I would have gone and done for like New Year's essentially. We would have gone to this con, and yeah, of course that didn't happen this year. Instead they posted like their dates for June, which is cool, but I don't know that that's actually going to happen. But I would definitely, right now, I would rather take my chances like at a local con. Like, I'm not gonna travel to conventions this year. And by take my chances, I mean like it's nearby, and I live in town, and it's happening at the convention center downtown. So my friend and I, like George and I, can drive by the convention center. Like, I can take the day off and we can drive by the convention center and see like what the crowd is like, and if it's bad, we can just go home, and then we don't have to worry about anything. Or if it looks reasonably like not super crowded or whatever, like they've made enough space and they've limited the number of people going in, like maybe we'll go in, but like only for a couple of hours. Like, I don't think we'd spend the entire day at the con like we normally would. We'd just kind of go through and look at everything like once as quickly as possible. Probably spend a lot of time looking at like the artist alley, so we could do the independent artist thing, like support them if they're there, because you know they deserve it. And then we'd go home. That's the plan. Like, if it happens, like if they actually hold the thing in June, that's what we're gonna do, is we're just gonna swing by and see what it's like, and depending on what it looks like, we're either gonna leave like just real quick, or just leave, just forget it and wait till next year. But we'll see how it goes. I know there's usually like 1 or 2 comic book conventions that happen every year, and then a couple of anime cons. And I don't go to a lot of anime cons anymore. The last one I went to was actually the local one, but I only went to like a day of it, because some of my friends are on the staff there and I'd never been to it. There's another one that happens usually closer to my birthday. It's probably not going to happen this year because my birthday's in April. And usually this other one happens closer to my birthday. I don't think it's going to happen this year, and that's fine. We'll see if it happens next year or not. But you know, maybe next year I will actually go to more anime cons, because I thought this year was going to be the year I'd actually like go like make prints of my stuff or sticker sheets, you know, do that, and then go try and sell my wares at all of the local conventions. But you know, the pandemic happened. Well, actually, I was gonna try and start late last year, because like I said, there's 2 anime cons, and one's in the spring and one's in the winter. And I was gonna try for the winter one, see how that goes, and then spend this year like doing the local con circuit, but that didn't happen. So we'll see what's up in the coming years. Like, if the winter con in town might happen this year. It didn't happen last year. But like, if they're still gonna try, that would be the one I think would still happen, because it's in November usually, and that should be far enough out from any vaccine rollouts that it would be the safest one to go to if everything goes well. So honestly, that's the only one I'd actually plan on going to, like if they announce dates. So I'll have to check. Maybe their Instagram will have information. like that other con that's like, oh yeah, we're gonna shoot for June. I don't know if it's actually gonna happen, and I don't know if I'd feel comfortable going to the con. And honestly, even if like George and I do decide to go for like that like couple of hours thing, it would be in the morning. Like, we'd get there when they open, because that's when it would be the least crowded, if it's gonna be crowded, and like do our business and go. But I definitely wouldn't want to have a table there, you know, if that makes sense. Life is weird right now, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. But I may have mentioned this. I think I didn't maybe mention it. I did mention it. I have another YouTube channel where I was posting like reviews and sort of video essays. I think there's like 5 videos on it that I did last year. I was really excited about it, and then I ended up in the hospital last year, so like that kind of ruined things, kind of threw me off of my production. I think I did do a couple videos after I got out of the hospital, but like it was a whole lot harder to keep up with. Like, I just did not have the motivation. I'm gonna try and start posting videos there again on that one, but they're gonna be books. I'm gonna turn it into like a booktube channel, because I miss book club. I used to be in not one but 2 book clubs at my local library, and I can't go to them anymore. They're canceled indefinitely, and it makes me so sad. Like, all of my other friends really miss ice skating. They loved ice skating, and I went ice skating because George loved ice skating, and he was the one. He had a car for a while, and he started ice skating when my mom got sick, and he was like, hey, you need to get out of the house and not do something other than work and be sad. And I was like, all right, fine. And he took me ice skating, and it was reasonably fun. I had a good time. He had a better time, definitely. And it got me out of the house, and we went so often that my dad that year, because that was also the year my mom died, and she died the week before my birthday that year. And so like my birthday came around, and my dad was like, here's some money, you and George go ice skating all the time, just go buy a pair of skates. And I think he did that partially because he was also very much like, you need to go do something that's not being sad at the house. And like, we did go skating a lot, and I was spending a lot of money renting skates and paying for like ice time. So this way I only had to pay for ice time. So we went, and I got skates, and we went a lot, at least until George's car broke down, and then I had to be the one driving us everywhere, because I hate driving up there. I hate driving in general, but I really hate driving up there, because it's up in the mountains here. It's actually not that far from my house. It's like maybe like 10 minutes if there's traffic. It's not far from my house, but like because I kind of live on the edge of town, and it's definite. That is even more the edge of town, because it's up against the mountains. And people drive like assholes up there, and I hate driving up there. So sometimes I will let George drive my car. Like, I'm like, here, you can drive us up there if you really want to go. But I don't. But they've been closed because of the pandemic. And him and all of our other friends, like Emily and Shelby, they all really miss ice skating, because that was their thing. And I really only did it because it was George's thing, and I was sad and I needed to do something. And yeah, so I don't miss ice skating nearly as much. What I miss is book club, because like, what was it? I don't remember. George went to Russia for a year, and while he was gone, I started going to book club at my local library, because I was there all the time anyway, and I kept seeing the stuff for it. And I needed to do something, because without George in town, I was pretty much just moping around my house and going to a job I hated every day. I used to work at Best Buy. I don't recommend it. And because I hated it. So I saw all these ads for book club at the library, and I went. I joined the mystery book club, and then a couple months later I joined the science fiction book club, and that was my place, man. It was so great. I got to be in the library, and I got to talk to people about books. And then, you know, last year, like, I got laid off of work because of the pandemic, and then I go to take my books back to the library, and they're like, hey, we are closed. Everything is shut down. You can drop your little books off in the checkoff, like a little drop-off box, but you can't come inside. And I was so sad. I was so sad. And, like, libraries are open now, but they've got signs posted everywhere about keeping your visit to like 15 minutes or less. They don't want you to really sit down and use computers unless you have to. So I pretty much just use like their online services these days. I've picked up a couple of books last week because I couldn't get them. I couldn't get e-copies of them. I had to get a physical. Well, one of them I picked up on the way out because it was on. They had a little display table, and I just grabbed it off of there. Just wanted to read it for a while, and it was just there. The other one I had to like request from a different library and have it sent to the one by my house, and I could only get a physical copy of it. So I actually, for the first time in a year, walked into the library, and it was great, but also really sad because I couldn't just hang out, and I miss it so much. I just want to be able to do book club again. So the closest I'm going to get to doing book club is talking about books on YouTube. So I'm going to pivot my other channel into a booktube channel where I talk about all of the books I've read. And yeah, so far for the month of January, I have read 4 books, and I'm probably going to call it at 4 because I'm going to try and record a video for that other channel on my next day off, which is Thursday, and then hopefully get that posted, you know, before February, or maybe that first week of February, and then we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to finish. I probably could finish one more book, like, before, like, January is officially over, but probably not before I make the video. So we're just gonna tally that next book up in February. You know, I just want to talk about books with people. It's the book life, the book nerd life is hard when most of your friends either don't have time to read or like don't care about the books you read. And not that they don't care. I'm sure some of my friends would let me just yak at them for hours about the books I read. They did. I read Midnight Sun, Twilight from Edward's perspective last year because I had to. It was garbage, by the way, and I would sit there and talk to all my friends about how garbage it was, and they got a kick out of it. So it's not like they won't let me talk about books with them, but at the same time, like, it's not the same as being in a room with like 15 other people who are just like, ah yes, this thing that this author did was horrible, you know, or this was great for this reason. Like, it's having friends willing to talk to you about books is not the same as being in a room full of book people who are either praising a book or ripping it a new one. And it's something, it's fun. Everybody kind of brings something different to the table because everybody had pretty different life experiences. Like the librarian who ran the mystery book club, her dad was a minister, and so he did a lot of work in South Korea, and that's where she grew up. Like, she's fluent in Korean, and she lived in Korea for most of her life. And so it's actually really cool to hear like how she feels about certain things, because she's got a different experience than I do. Like, I'm the youngest person in both book clubs, so that kind of adds to how I interpret things, and you know, it's actually really fun, and I like it, and I miss it so much. So much. I also read a lot of books that I don't think I would have normally read because I either would have picked them up, decided I hated them, and stopped reading them, or I wouldn't have thought about them at all. So it was nice to go to book club for that, because when I'm left to my own devices to pick books, I kind of just pick like really weird niche things outside of like A Wizard of Earthsea is my favorite book pretty much ever. I also like The Last Unicorn, which is not too terribly niche, right? Okay. But, you know, I do big fan of vampire books. Interview with a Vampire, I guess, is not terribly niche, but like I recently read the first book in the Vampire Diaries series. You know, the series that the book series that the TV show was based off of, but not really. I guess the TV show and the books are drastically different, but I decided I wanted to read the books and then maybe watch the TV series and just like get a kick out of how wildly different they are. And I liked it. A lot of the Goodreads reviews for this book were just terrible and talking about how bad it was, but I've also read Twilight. Okay, I've read all but one of the Twilight books, and listen, this is the Vampire Diary books are infinitely better. I've only read one, but they are infinitely better than anything Stephanie Meyer could come up with, and they're also a lot shorter, so it's actually like more worth your time than the Twilight books. But I really like them, and they're really niche. And like The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin is also a favorite of mine, and it's also definitely a weird one. Not all of my books are in this room. There's bookshelves in this room, but not all of them are here. But like, of what I can see, like there's one I have in here called Alice by Christina Henry. That was also really good. It's sort of like a grimdark retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but it's really trippy and wild, but also like graphic, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'll reread it and talk about it at some point, because it's been a while since I've read it. But I like weird books like that. Like one of my favorite like mystery thriller books is called The Kind Worth Killing, and I don't remember who wrote it, but it's about this woman who just kind of kills people because she thinks they deserve to be killed, and it's really good. Like, it's weird and very dark, but it's good. Like, I like it a lot. And I had gotten it from my library, so I don't own it, but it's a book that I think I would like to own so I could read it whenever. That's sometimes how I decide what books to buy, is if I have gotten them from the library more than once, then I will buy them. So maybe I will check out The Kind Worth Killing again. I know I can get an e-copy of that, so that's easier to get a hold of, and I can read that one again. Anyway, I've rambled on for like 20 minutes about conventions and books, which is better than the last video in which I pretty much just talked about, like, described what I was drawing and then checked out. I've talked to zero, like, absolutely nothing about the drawing I've done, and I'm sorry. It was supposed to be quick and easy. It didn't end up being as quick as I liked, but it was definitely different than my usual, and sort of a nice, fun thing to do, a break from webcomic stuff and what I usually do for videos. It was just nice because I'm tired. And I don't give myself a lot of spare time. Or at least I don't do a lot of the things I really enjoy doing in my spare time these days, like reading and talking about the books I have read. Anyway, yeah, that's wild. Anyway, so yeah, I will soon hopefully have a booktube channel. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I will get like press copies of upcoming books. That would be exciting. It's the dream, right? To get advanced copies of books. It's the dream for me. I guess the dream of success I have is that like maybe people will actually start reading my webcomic and like it and support me on Patreon. Because I have a Patreon, in case you're wondering. For $3 a month you get early access to all of my videos and like, you know, sketches and stuff. For $10 you get like access to webcomic specific stuff. And your name in the credits. I don't have $10 patrons yet, so there's nobody with their names in the credits. I don't know if I should switch up the tiers or not. I feel like you get a lot for the $3, which is kind of why there's only 2 of them. I also don't honestly post a lot on Patreon yet because I have Emily. Emily supports me on Patreon, and she can just ask me for stuff. She doesn't actually have to pay attention to Patreon. It's fine. Anyway, I guess. So yeah, I have a Patreon if you would like to support me and my endeavors. Help me buy more books. Help me feed my guinea pig. And, you know, that's it for now. I will see you next time. If you don't want to miss any videos, be sure to subscribe, maybe like and leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.